What is up, guys? Welcome to episode 18 for the How to Code a Spigot plugin for 1.15 series. Today we are talking about packets and NMS. So what the heck are those two things I just mentioned? And they are things, basically they're things in Bukkit in Java that we can do to create a Spigot plugin that the Spigot API does not have. That is stuff like tab list. Tab list is like one of the huge things. That's a thing like tab list, where it's a thing that's not in the Spigot API, but it is dealing with packets. We can send information. And what packets are is information either sent from the player to the server or the server to the player. And for example, we will be coding this today. And what the heck is this? This is an MPC. This is a packet. It's pretty much a glitch in the matrix. It's nothing. It's just a thing. And we won't get to everything in today's episode. We'll probably just get to spotting it. We won't get to the look around. We might not get to the skin. I don't think so. But we will create an NPC, and this NPC uses NMS, which NMS is net Minecraft.server. That's what it stands for. Net Minecraft.server, NMS. And it's just stuff, just like packets, stuff that you can do with Bukkit plugins that is not in the Spigot API. So let's get right into it. Go ahead into your IDE and create a new project. I'm gonna create this name this project custom MPC. I'm gonna press next. Go head over to the libraries tab and I'm gonna add the Spigot jar file. Now this is really important. As you can see, I imported the 1.15 Spigot jar file, so this plugin that I'm about to create will only work in 1.15, and I'll explain why in a second. So I'm gonna right click on SRC, go to new package, and also don't be afraid if you're coding 1.8 and you're like, oh no, I can't code this now. You might still be able to code it, and I'll explain more with the imports. But the package will be me.codered.custom MPC, and go ahead and first, before we do anything, we're gonna create that first main class, and the main class, of course, will extend the Java plugin, as well as the two beautiful methods on enable and on disable. All right, now that that's done, we will create everything in a separate class. So I'm gonna create a static class, and we're gonna call this, we'll use the same package, who cares? First new, we'll create a new class, and I'm gonna call this NPC. Now this NPC class, like I said, everything's gonna be accessed statically. Now a lot of people are against that, but I don't care. We're making this a class static because I just feel it's easier to, like a util class for NPCs. So everything we put in here just for the NPC, everything will be accessed statically. And the first thing I want to do is create a list. Now, we'll create a private static list. And what is in this list? The thing that's in this list is called an entity player. I'm called NPC. Go ahead and import that. And then we actually need to set this list equal to a new array list. The same thing. Entity player. And what the heck is entity player? That is basically just an NPC. Now this is in the NMS, as you see, net Minecraft server. And this is why I said this is a 1.15 specific code right here. It's because I imported the 1.15 entity player. If you are coding in 1.8, you'll have to import the 1.8 entity player. But of course, NMS is actually one thing in the Spigot API when you update it, 1.14, 1.15, 1.16, whatever. NMS does change a little bit. So you might run into some errors if you're coding this in a later version. But just to let you guys know, I'm coding this 1.15, so everything I code right now will work in 1.15. That's what I guarantee. So once we have this list created, let's create our first method, the public static void create NPC. This method will have a player passed into it. So whenever we create the NPC, what my command is that I did is whenever I am here and I type in /NPC, it creates NPC of where I was standing, and that's pretty much it. So that's what we're gonna code real quick. So we're gonna create NPC, we're passing the player, we need the player location, and we're getting 4 things here that are gonna be completely new to you if you don't know about NMS. And the first thing will be a Minecraft server, and we'll call it server. I'm gonna set equal to a cast of the craft server of the bucket.get server .get server. And that right there is the NMS way of getting the server, the actual Minecraft server that's running. So I'm getting these Minecraft server right there. Next, I'm gonna get the world server. We'll call it world, and we'll set it equal to another cast of the craft world of the bucket.get world. And we're gonna get the world, excuse me, the world that the player is in, player.get world.get name. And then outside of all of that, type in .get handle. And then import it. So that's just to get the world. Pretty easy stuff. We're just getting the server that's running, and we're getting the world that the player is in. We're just putting it all into MNS stuff. Next is a game profile. What the hell is a game profile? Game profile is what holds like information about your player. So my character's name is CMax. That's my name of my character. My UUID, it holds that. It holds like my location, I think. Something other basic stuff. My name, I don't know. So we're creating a game profile, and this is going to be our NPC game profile. And you're going to pass in 2 things. You're going to pass in a UID of random UID, and it's just going to create an entity ID for it. And we want all our NPCs to have their unique IDs, just like players, so that we're able to select, hey, you do this, you do that. We're able to select multiple and do different stuff. So what's the second parameter? The second parameter is the name. And then for the name, I'm passing check color.dark aqua. I'm gonna do the same name. Plus that, plus bold, plus coded red. And then import all that. And missing a plus. And boom. Now, before I move on, let me just say that the name is really, really important. The name can only be up to 16 characters long. If it's more than 16 characters, the player will crash. So the packet that we are sending is a packet to the player. So the server won't crash, the player will crash. Take my word for it, if it's up to more than 16 characters long, the player will crash out of the server. Now, what is this right here? This is probably 16 characters long, even though it's not. It's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you got to think about the color codes. Color codes count as characters. I think bold's 2. I'm not really sure. Like colors is 1, maybe. But these count as characters, and they will crash your server if you have more than 16. So how do you get around this? You can spawn in a hologram. And I didn't get to over holograms yet, but basically holograms are just armor stands that you are setting to invisible, and then just putting a custom name. So if we put a hologram above the character, we can make the character name a million digits long. It doesn't really matter. But just for right now, the NPC can only have a 16 character long name. Once we actually have the game profile, we can finally create that NPC, and that's going to be entity player, just like our list. Entity player NPC equals a new entity player, and we're passing in that server. We're passing in that world. We're passing in that game profile. And then finally, we're passing in where it can interact. Player interact manager world. And then go ahead and import that. So now we have the NPC. We pass in the server. It knows what server it's in. We pass in the world. We know where the world is. We passed in that ID and the name, and then we made it so where they can interact. This is where the world that they are in, that they can interact with. Next, we need to actually set that location. NPC.set location, and the location is going to be that player location. It could be really whatever you want it to be. If you have a set location, it could be that. but we're just dealing with players, so get X. So the first one is the X variable, player.getLocation.getX. The next one is, if you can guess it, Y. The third one is Z. I want to space this down. The fourth one is not X, Y, or Z, it's yaw. The fifth one's pitch. Awesome. And the difference between these two, pitch and yaw, is pitch is up and down and yaw is left and right. So just getting your head location, basically. And that is it. Then we're done. And that's how you create an NPC. We do need to deal with packets. So this is all NMS right here. As you can see, it's all, NMS. Now we need to create another method. Public static void add, what should we call this? We can call it add NPC packet. And we're just going to pass in the entity player NPC. And we need to send this packet not just to that player that spawned it, but to every single player on the server. So for player, I'm going to call player. For player bucket.getOnline players. So we're getting all the players on the server. And then we're sending them that packet. How you just send a packet is player connection equals so we're getting that connection and we're getting the craft player. We're getting this player, we're just casting it to a craft player. We're gonna get the handle and then we're gonna get the player connection. So this right here is how the server and the player communicates. We're getting the packets at the center in between. So we're getting that connection, and then we're going to send the packets. So connection dot send packet new packet play out player info. And then we're to put in here packet play out player info dot enum dot add player. And then we're gonna put that NPC. So what this packet does right here, it adds the player, adds the NPC to this whole player info, the packet, that player info packet. That's what you can see when I typed in when I press tab, you see the code reds, whatever. Next, connection.send packet. We're sending 3 packets here, and this one's would be a new. This one's would be a little easier. A new packet. Packet play out named entity spawn, and we're gonna spawn in that NPC. So that right there will spawn the NPC for the player client. And then the last packet is connection.send packet new packet play out entity head rotation. And this is really important. So with NPC, we're gonna fix this guy's head. We're gonna turn this head data into byte data. And to do that, it's be npc.yaw, and we're gonna have to times it by 256 and then divide it by 360. And then import that. Did I mess up somewhere? Oh. Packet play out entity head rotation. God, I don't know how to spell. Okay, there we go. Connection to send out packet play head rotation. And then we're just gonna, like I said, we're changing this data from the NPC into byte data. To do that, we have to times it by 256 and divide it by 360. This is like, we're using this a lot, so you'll remember that 256 and 360. Pretty easy. And then we're up here, and this other method we have, the first one, all we need to do is add NPC packet NPC. So we're just gonna call this packet. And we are pretty much done. And that right there is actually how if we run this code right now, it'll work. It'll create that NPC, and when the name of the NPC be coded red, whatever you set it to right here, and it's going to send that packet to every single player online. Now, what is wrong with this code is that what happens after? What happens if I create this NPC? It sends all the packets, and then someone joins right after. They're not going to have that packet. So we will have to create a join method that adds all the packets from this NPC right here to the new player that joined. And to do this, I'm going to copy this method. So I'm going to type all that over again. And then we're to change the for loop, or to change the name first, add, we'll say instead of NPC join, add join packet. And this for loop's going to change. The for loop, instead of players, it will be NPCs. So entity, player, NPC, and we'll go through all the NPCs. NPC. And then we're passing in player. Boom. So I'll create all the NPCs from this list, and then I'll send the package. But it won't just do that by itself. We need to actually create that event. And before we create the event, I did create this list private. So public static list entity player get NPCs, and this will just return our NPC list. And I'm only putting this down here because I created our list private. And now that we have all this done, let's go into our main class. Let's implement listener. That's going to be for our event. And then we're going to create our command real quick. Why not? While we're in this class, public boolean on command sender command cmd, and then a string called label. Y'all should know how to do this. And then an array of strings I'm gonna call args, and then return false. So I'm gonna create this really simple command, and all the command is gonna do is just spawn it. So if label dot equals ignore case, create NPC. If it equals that right there, then first thing I want to do though is say if we'll have to check if the sender is a console. So if the sender is instance of player, so I'm saying if it's not a player, let's just return true. You can go ahead and send a message if you like, but then we can create the player. Player equals cast of player to the sender, and then finally all we need to do is type in npc dot create npc player dot send message npc created. And then just like that, that's how you spawn an NPC. We just call in that method, create NPC from our NPC class right here, this whole method. And yeah, I'll create it just like that. And then finally we need that event. And what are we running at? Well, let's create in this class, why not? Get server, get plugin manager dot register events. This actually, I've been getting a lot of questions on this, so let's go ahead and create a new class. And this class is going to be called the join class. So I'm going to create a new class. We'll call it join. In this class, we're to implement listener, import that. Next, I'm going to say at event handler, and this is how we handle events. Public void on join, and then there's the player join events. So what we need to say in here is if npc dot get npcs does not equal null, or we can say if it equals null, return. If npc dot get npcs dot is empty, return. Otherwise, if it's not empty and if it's not null, we can do npc dot add join packet to event dot get player. So if they join the server, if NPCs, if we're getting that list and it's null, return. The same thing if it's empty, return, whatever. These probably do the same thing. I just do it just in case. And if it's not null, if it's not empty, we go ahead and add them to that packet so they can see all the NPCs. And then in our main class, we need to register that class. So instead of this, you would do new, join, and then boom. If it's on the same package, you'll have to import that, but it's just the name of the class. Our name of the class is join, whatever. And then just like that, we are completely done. I'm going to right click on the SRC, go to new, file, call this the plugin.yml. Main, the main is going to be me.codedred.custom npc.main, it's whatever your main class is located in. The name of our class is custom npc, name of the project, version, author will be yourself, and then the commands, 2 spaces, custom npc. What is it? No, not custom, it's create npc. Let's go ahead and export this to my server. I'm gonna load the server, and then we can test out our new plugin. So we didn't get to the skins part. Sorry, the video is running pretty long, so I don't want to get to that. I don't want to get too long. So we didn't get to the custom skins part, but we did get to spawning this NPC. So if I go over here and I just type in create NPC, you'll see I'm in the side of Steve. Oh God. I create an NPC, and I'll either create Steve or create an Alex. So whatever head position you're looking at. So if I look straight up and I create an NPC, you'll see it creates Alex looking straight up. Yeah. And wow, so cool. There's much more you can do with these NPCs, obviously. And I don't know if I said it yet, but this is it for this video. This is all I'm gonna do. And if you see, if I leave the server and if I join back, and it didn't work. Let's check it out real quick. Oh, that's because we sorry, because I didn't add the npc.add npc. That was my fault. So once we create that NPC, we need to add the packet. We also need to add the NPC to the list. My bad. Okay. Now, if I add that new version to my server, type in create NPC, and if I leave the server and join back, he should, yep, there he is. Steve is still here. Cool. And that's pretty much it. Now, what I do want to say is these NPCs will be deleted when your server shuts down. And if you don't want that to happen, you will have to save the location and everything in a file. So instead of what we did here with create NPC, what you have to do is remove this player, and you have to change all these all the values of where we get this player, like the world, get world, instead of get world get player, you have to do get world 0, right? Something like that, 0, or wherever your name is, world. So we're gonna get that world, and then instead of the player location, you'll need to get the location from like the file or wherever you saved it at. You understand? I hope you guys understand that. Like, if you don't want the NPC to be deleted when the server shuts down, you need to save everything in a file and then just run this method on enable, where it'll just create every NPC, and then every single time someone joins, it'll just add them to that list using this method down here. Now, the way our plugin works is these NPCs will die, will be deleted when the server shuts down, and that's just because I'm lazy, and we'll go over the file thing later. So this episode is just over this. It's just going to be over creating this NPC, creating a basic one. It just spawns and stands there. We will get into more stuff later, like if I show you this guy. We will get into custom skins next episode. I will go over custom skins and maybe look around, probably, where I can look around. Now, this actually is the first time a plugin will be a 3-part series. 3 or 4 probably. But next episode's will be over custom skins, and maybe I'll do the file one. I don't know yet. But the 3rd episode will be over whatever you want this NPC to do. So y'all have 1 week. 1 week to decide, to comment, to join my Discord, let me know what you want to see. Do you want to see a video of when I click on this NPC, GUI opens? Do you want to see a video of this NPC killing me with a sword? want to see like NPC holding stuff. I don't know, when I click on him he flies in the air, or like I saw a cool plugin wherever you like crouch, an NPC spawns on you and then you're invisible, so you can crawl around invisible, no one can see you, and then when you open up again a new NPC will spawn right here, like it'll move. That's a pretty cool plugin. I can create stuff like that. Whatever y'all want to see, let me know. You have 1 week to decide what you want to see. So I'm gonna post probably that video Friday, so let me know what you want to see. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, go ahead, like, subscribe, comment, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.